We want to talk with you about the books that feed your imagination and the vices that spark your soul.
We drink, we curse, we read things. Come sit by us. Expect no judgment, just good times.
Welcome to Paper and Vices. Books reviewed, vices indulged.
Mature content warning.
We're going to talk about getting old and your joints hurting. That's the mature content this time. Having responsibilities, so your TBR list has to be cut down. So we were talking about this and then we were like, oh, let's talk about it on the podcast. I am not drinking alcohol again because I had a beer with dinner and then I had a shower beer. And I was like, maybe not a third beer in 2 hours because I don't drink beer enough for that to not be a thing, and I didn't eat a whole lot of dinner, so I am having a decaf latte in my fancy handmade Paper and Vices mug, which I love and use all the time now.
Which you could pre-order also.
Yeah, just message us on Instagram at Paper and Vices or contact us at either Lee and paperandvices.com or Victoria at paperandvices.com. We're going to do an order probably in early summer, and we need to know how many to get. So if you don't tell us you want one, we're going to do a minimum order, and we're probably only going to do one run in this color because there's lots of pretty colors.
There are. I remember you sent me the list of like, these are all the colors. I'm like, yes, all of them? Can we do one of each?
Not the brown one. I'm good without the brown one. I'm reasonable.
Yeah. No, that's fair. You could rule that one out, but it is a magical
this is such
mug.
like a soothing, happy green color.
Mm-hmm.
And you can drink rum out of it completely inconspicuously because everyone's like, oh, she's drinking coffee or tea out of a fancy pottery mug. You think that. Also, it kind of looks like a cauldron and it's a fat-bottomed girl. So these are all things I love.
You can't go wrong.
Nope.
I am drinking wine, by the way. And you could probably hear it. But what are you reading right now?
I just got done reading Jeffe Kennedy's Dark Wizard, which is the first in a new series, and I really fucking liked it.
Well, like, is it different? Like, I actually haven't read any of her stuff yet, as much as you've talked about her.
The sex in her stuff is always good, but it's not unrealistic, which I appreciate. Like, she is obviously... I'm sorry, Madame Kennedy, if you ever hear this and this offends you, but I think you'd probably laugh. She is a woman who's had some good lovin', and she knows how to write some good lovin'. Like, you can just tell, and I appreciate that, because I have read so much fan fiction and poorly written sex that sometimes you're just like, oh no, a virgin wrote this, or, oh no, a person who's never touched a boobie wrote this, because boobies don't do that. Jim Butcher, I love you, but what the fuck? So, yeah, they don't quiver like excited puppies. That's the fuck. Anyway, what I love about Jeffe Kennedy is that she delivers some classic tropes that people who read romance and fantasy love. They're tropes for a reason. People keep saying trope like it's a bad word. No, this is fucking why we like the genre. But she delivers them in such a way with such good character development that each couple she writes about completely different and you don't know exactly what you're going to get. And so this one, I don't know if it was the byline or whatever, but it was advertised as The Selection meets The Witcher, which I found to be pretty darn accurate. And what I loved about this couple was that their disconnect and where they couldn't get on the same page didn't come from them wanting the exact same thing, but not knowing how to say it. Like, because it gets to a point, I think, in some romance novels where people use that same trope over and over, and you almost want to do like, whoop, whoop, it's a slide whistle, miscommunicated again. And it gets, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. You want to scream like at the book going, just fucking open your mouth and like
just be like, I want your dick and probably to live with you at least 28 days of the month and we'll figure out the other two, okay? Like, just, that would cut out like at least 60% of the book. This is not one of those situations. She does this thing where her characters fall in love as they grow into who they actually are versus who they've been forced to be by society or circumstances. So the more they lean into who they really are and what they really want, the more they fall in love with the other person. At least that's what she did in this book. Like, it's not that with every book. She also does, I have to look up the series, I can't remember its name now. She does really good. We were talking about it in the Court of Silver Flames, PTSD and trauma recovery. She does really good with that in the Chronicles of Dasnaria. She does Prisoner of the Crown, Exile of the Seas, and Warrior of the World. It's a really good series, and it's this princess who was literally raised in basically a harem in complete solitude away from all men. She's married off for a price to a bad man, goes through hella trauma, escapes, and basically runs away to what is the equivalent of Africa, and falls in with family / tribe, and it's about her healing and working with elephants and using her skills she had learned in dancing to become a warrior. So good. So
sounds
good.
really magical.
It
that sounds
is.
amazing.
Yeah, we'll have to
What's that series again?
Chronicles of Dasnaria.
Oh, okay.
I will send you a link. And then the Bonds of Magic is what this new series is called, and Dark Wizard is the first one. And let me see. Lord Gabriel Fell wants one thing: to rebuild the shattered fortunes of his people and restore his ruined house to its former station in the Convocation's highest tiers of elegant society. Fortunately, through a wild chance of birth, he was born with powerful wizard magic, the first in his family in generations. If he can obtain a familiar and wife to amplify his magic, a highborn daughter he can marry to be mother to his children, he'll be that much closer to saving his family. He is really hot and broad-shouldered and has white hair. So if you're the kind of person who has trouble visualizing what the hot guy looks like, Netflix has like 9 episodes for you to just be like, oh, hello, Lord Fell. And then Lady Veronica Elal, captive in her tower, has one way out. She's not a wizard. She's a familiar, and the way the story starts is with this thing called the Betrothal Trials. And basically, a wizard or a familiar can be male or female, but they have someone usually of the opposite sex, but not always. A wizard has a familiar to amplify their magic, because a familiar has a lot of their own magic, but they can't access it.
That sucks.
It does. And so she's Veronica, who's called Nick. She's super intelligent. She was trained to be the head of her house, and then when the moment came they thought her wizard power would manifest, she was a familiar, and so she's basically a second-tier citizen. So her option was basically to be sold to the highest bidder, or to go through the betrothal trials, where she's locked in a tower for a year, and she gets a different suitor one night every month, and the first one that makes her pregnant wins the prize.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
That is some fuckery.
It is some fuckery, and Gabriel plays into it to restore his family, but he fucking hates the convocation, and he thinks it's barbaric and awful, and she does too, but the only reason she participated was because in the betrothal trials, you have to pay to enter, only 12 people are selected, and you can rule out wizards that you don't like. So if someone had been an absolute beast, she could have been like, no, he's not allowed to try. So there are some shenanigans on foot. He basically has no idea what he's doing because he's been a country bumpkin. His family's been country bumpkins for generations. And then he has more power than he knows what to do with. And it's really good. And the whole first book is basically about them getting together and figuring out what they both want and the direction they want to go in. It's good.
Very interesting.
And the next one comes out in like July. So I'm pretty.
Well, that's not too far away.
No, it's not. I'm pretty excited.
At least you don't have to wait like a year
or
2.
No.
That's
I mean,
really
I would, but I'm glad I don't.
You really wouldn't have a choice, to be honest, but
yeah. So she writes fantasy really well. She writes sex really well, but you fall in love with her characters. And I mean, like, that's my thing. Good dialogue, good character development, solid world building. Okay, all the things are my thing, but she's one of those people that you read one of her books and you're like, oh shit, she's been doing this for a while. Just the art of writing. She's talented at her craft and she's honed her skill.
That is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's cool. I feel like that's worth mentioning whenever you hit an author like that, just because it takes time to get there. You know?
And funnily enough, that is why I did not like the book The Selection. So The Selection is one of those books. It's about a group of girls who won a lottery and they go to the palace to basically be in a bachelor style situation with the crown prince. I read them. They were not bad. I would have liked them more when I was 15. But you could definitely tell if the author had been 10 years older or writing for 5 or 10 more years, they would have been better. And I hate saying that because I know if I ever publish a book, people are going to say the same thing about me. They weren't bad. I would readily give them to my 16-year-old daughter and be like, here's 3 new books. Mommy and Daddy are going out of town for the weekend. Buy all the Pizza Hut you want. Assuming it's legal to leave a 16-year-old by themselves. I don't even know.
Yeah. By the time our kids are 16, it'll probably change, so...
Yeah, you'll have a smart house and you'll just set the lock and be like, Mommy and Daddy are going away. Please feed teenager. And they weren't bad, but they're like supposed to be the same reading level as the Hunger Games. And she tried to put the Hunger Games meets The Bachelor into the same series. Background information. The reason The Selection became so big was because I don't even remember who published it. There was a lot of marketing and stuff behind it. I mean, people obviously like it, and it's not undeserving, but people in the marketing department of the publishing house got a wild hair up their ass that they really liked this book. So,
was that also Jeffe Kennedy, or was that something
No.
else?
No. It was some YA person. I say YA person like I don't read half YA. Kira Cass.
Oh, okay.
And she's not bad.
That name actually sounds familiar.
It was published in the first one was published in 2012 by HarperCollins. Kira Cass, what else has she done? She's done things in the same universe, which no harm, no shade. That's a really good thing if you can do it. Obviously, Cassandra Clare is amazing at it. Mm-hmm. And she started out writing Draco Malfoy fanfiction, so...
That I did not know. I think you might have told me that. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't remember that. Oh, you're cutting out.
This has been Victoria's boring 20-minute lecture on how books she doesn't particularly care for became popular. Anyway, Dark Wizard. Really good. Thoroughly enjoyed. Eagerly awaiting the next one. What are you reading?
I actually just started The Obsidian Tower by Melissa Caruso. It was in one of my Caffeine and Legends book boxes.
I just got a new box from them today. I should take pictures of it and put it on the internet. The copy is so cute. Anyway, how is it?
So far, it's really good. What I like about it is that, I don't know, like I don't like too much politics in like fan. Like I feel like there should be like a healthy dose of political intrigue, enough to like stir the plot up, but not too much to where there's not. Like to where it drowns out like the magic, and I just feel like there's a pretty good balance here.
Good.
I think I'm like 60 pages in, so to be fair, I'm not 100% sure how it's like going to turn out, but we've already had like a major catalyst for the whole plot, like already. So, and then what I like about this one is it's a different twist on the whole good magic versus bad magic, or, you know, dark magic. People are born with a type of magic, and typically you're born, like if your family possesses the good kind of magic, like it's just assumed that you're going to have the good kind of magic. And one of the royalty of this area didn't get that. She got like the bad kind of magic, so like nobody could hug her. Or she might kill them, like, which sucks.
That is not fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of, and then, you know, there's this, and I don't feel like I don't think it's a spoiler, because I mean, it's pretty obvious on the back of the book where it's like, you know, there's a door that should be not open. And of course it gets opened.
Yeah.
So
that's why doors get locked.
That's right.
To further the plot.
Yes. But I was kind of surprised that it like I said, I'm like 60 pages in and it's already been opened. So, and I'm like, ooh, it's an adventure. So yay. So I'm excited. I'll have to I don't know, maybe post a review or something if like the rest of the book is amazing. Huh?
I would like to hear a review. Sounds good.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want your own Caffeine and Legends box, use code Paper and Vices for 10% off.
Yeah.
I remembered this time. But they are a good box. They are one of our favorites. And we're always happy with what we get from them. I've gotten 4 boxes from them, I think. I'm not unhappy with anything I've gotten.
Yeah. No, I was actually kind of sad. Like when you were like, oh, I just got my box. I'm like, oh. Because I temporarily put them on hold and while I check out just a couple other boxes that I'm like, but I'm like, out of all of them, I'm like, yeah, so far it's my favorite. So,
yeah.
But anyway.
This one's really good.
So what are your vices this week?
I binge watched all of the Winx Saga on Netflix, which is, it's good.
Yeah. That's the one that does that's the cartoon that's the Fate thing is based off of.
Yes.
How is it?
Nothing like the cartoon, but good. It's
what did you watch the cartoon or the Fate?
No, I didn't watch the cartoon, but I've seen a lot of people complaining. I really like the cartoon, and this isn't like the cartoon. Oh,
I totally misunderstood. I thought you watched the cartoon, and I've seen the.
No, sorry.
Is it Fate or Fate? Oh God, now I don't even know. Yeah, it's Fate, the Winx Saga. That's what it is. That one was really good.
Yeah, did you watch it?
I did. It was good. Amazing.
I liked Bloom's parents a lot at the end. I didn't like. It's not that I didn't like the actress that they had play Beatrix. Her hair drove me nuts through the whole thing. It was so bad. Other than that, the whole cast I thought was really good, especially the girl that played Musa. I thought she was very, very cute and very just on point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's good stuff. And
I was sad that it was only 8 episodes.
They've already greenlit season 2, which I'm excited for. So yeah, that has been my vice this week. That and just not getting stuff done. Just giving myself permission to not get stuff done because we are on day 353 of self-isolating in my family. You know what? Just, no, it's not all getting done.
Yeah.
And Texas isn't even making you wear masks anymore. And so now there are people like the governor of Texas saying boycott Target because Target came out and said, our stores are still enforcing mask policy in all of the states. Wear your damn mask. No shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service. So yeah, that's
boycott Target.
I'm really glad I can get books and coffee delivered to my house.
Yeah.
It's so weird because it's March and I have not spent several $100s in the garden department of any garden store or major home improvement store yet, which is quite strange for me.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, because I guess you've been kind of like buying a little bit at a time at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, no, I went to Trader Joe's this week and it's been a headache week for me. I was so in and out of there that I didn't even buy a plant.
Wow.
Like, it's not that, because like last time I went to Trader Joe's, time before last, I should say, trip before this most recent one, however you English that, I went and my husband was putting stuff away and he's like, did you get a plant? And I'm like, yep. And I pulled a little succulent out of my pocket. Like, I had paid for it, but it was cold outside and I wanted to keep it warm on the way to the car, so I put it in my pocket.
That's
he's
so
like,
cute.
He just pursed his lips and nodded like, yep.
That's my wife.
There were no plants this time.
Oh, man. That just means that you'll have to buy 2 plants next time you go to balance the universe.
Possibly. Possibly. We're trying to figure out, because I like to direct sow our seeds. Just, probably if we had more space and stuff to do a bigger garden, I would start seeds in trays, but we've tried it before, and honestly, what works best for us is to direct sow. So, as soon as we're past frost, we're going to be direct sowing some stuff in the garden, and we're going through our seeds, trying to figure out what we're going to want to sow and such. So, I'm trying to hold back, but this week there wasn't that much stuff, but like you and I had that other project we're working on, which took up a lot of my brain time. And I was just like, you know what? Not everything's happening this week, and that's okay.
It's hard to let it go, but once you do, you're like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
The house will still stand.
The dishes in the sink will reinforce it if it tries to fall. It's fine.
It's totally fine. Do you remember, like, what was it, a month and a half ago now? Like, I wrote out a nice little happy to-do list, and every day had like a section of the house that I was gonna like deep clean, and like for 1 week everything got done and it was amazing and beautiful. And now I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? Like, I don't know how that happened. I really don't.
Husband and I had a conversation today that part of the reason mommy's so behind on cleaning is because the 6-year-old freeloader that lives with us is reluctant to contribute to the efforts. And at one point today, we got Chick-fil-A for lunch, because when you're in the South, that's what you do.
Yes.
And it's not a political statement, it's just chicky nugs. And so I asked her, I was like, hey, can you pick up our lunch trash and put it in the trash can? And she goes, she does it, and then she comes back and says, I got mine, you can get yours. It was a long conversation. Daddy discovered where some of mommy's headache has come from.
I know you're not supposed to slap your children.
I get what people do, though.
I applaud you for not bitch slapping that mouth. Because, yeah.
Yeah. No, she's, I call it testing boundaries.
I feel it's a good thing that our kids are very similar in age. I feel like it's good that they're not, like, having play dates consistently, because they would just give each other tips.
I love your kids, and I know you love my kid, but the past, 2 months have been the first time that I'm like, I am really glad that they're not playing with each other, because they would just be worse little butt heads together, is what they would do.
Probably.
What stage of prefrontal cortex development is your child in? The shitty one that makes me grind my teeth. Before puberty. That one.
Oh, man.
So some things have just not happened, and that's okay.
Yes.
Mommy had shower beer.
Woohoo!
Which I learned about from you, so thanks for that. What are your vices this week?
Well, next week it'll be shower beer, because I haven't done that in a while. But no, okay, so we have a housemate, and our housemate is vegetarian, and we are trying to go back that way. But anyway, different conversation. He brought home a pizza the other day from this local Italian joint that is like a little hole in the wall that is automatically fucking amazing, because it's this little hole in the wall mom and pop operation. And it has artichokes and fried eggplant on top of it, which sounds fucking disgusting.
It does, because eggplant is basically a sponge.
Yeah. If you deep fry it and stick it on pizza, it's actually pretty fucking good. Like, okay. They call it, the name of the pizza is called Heaven. And I'm like, I would not have ordered this. And I was maybe slightly intoxicated when I first tried it. Dang. And it was amazing. And since then, it doesn't matter. Sober, not quite sober. It's an amazing pizza. And that's one of those things that, speaking of like housework and like things that have kind of fallen to the side, I have decided that cooking is one of those things that should fall to the side. So, just like,
I support you in this. This is me for the last 2 weeks. The only thing I am getting done this week is I'm cooking. Like, The laundry is clean, and the dryer is somewhere under the mountain of clean laundry.
Yes.
But the cat is getting fed, because my husband does it, and I'm cooking us food every day. Those are the requirements. Everything else is a bonus.
Yes.
So how is the Heaven pizza cold versus hot?
I have not tried it cold, to be honest.
Have you had it reheated? Does it last that long?
It doesn't last that long.
It's always so cool when you find some food thing that it's like this really random weird shit that you would be like, no, I don't like that. But then you try it and you're like, oh, this is one of those food things that makes no sense, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to Cafe Du Monde, it's fried dough balls and sugar. Everyone's going to be happy. Unless you're
Yes.
one of those lame people that doesn't like sweet things, in which case we'll light an incense and say a prayer for you. But like if you go to Cafe Du Monde, you're gonna find something you like, even though their menu is 3 items.
Yes.
But like eggplant artichoke pizza, that's a fancy weird thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's pizza and there's no, like not cooking and not doing housework, but there's also skincare. That's a horrible fucking transition. This is actually something when we recorded the makeup episode way back when.
Yeah.
That was the makeup and demonology one. Somehow we talked about demons and makeup in the same episode.
We talked about the difference between like a demon and a really hot guy with horns and a weird skin tint from another dimension that you want to bang, because those are not the same thing. And I feel
They're
like
not.
Literature has blurred those lines to hell. Lols to hell.
But we ended up having to cut like a lot of that episode because we speaking of blurred lines, like we ended up blurring the lines between like makeup and then like, I don't know, I think in my notes I was like blurring in some skincare stuff, and I was like, no, we need to do like a completely separate episode on skincare. Fast forward, we are here.
Yes.
So I don't know, like, do you have,
So
how should we do this?
Makeup, and speaking of makeup and demonology, we've been pretty open, and if you look at our Instagram, it's pretty obvious. We like makeup. It's one of our favorite vices. But putting makeup on bad skin is bad for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
If your skin is unhappy, putting makeup on top of it probably isn't going to make your skin more happy. You are going to be uncomfortable, and most makeup, like they'll say, it covers anything, but it's not designed to even out the texture of some scabby grossness on your face. It's just not.
Yeah.
So if you want to have good makeup, you kind of have to put it on good skin.
Mm-hmm.
And so I noticed around the time I turned 30, started getting more into skincare. And I don't know how you are with your makeup, though I think we're the same. I will have days where I want to wear pretty eyeshadow and eyebrows, but I do not want to wear foundation and concealer. And does anyone wear lipstick anymore? It's we just survived 2020. No one knows. So you kind of need, obviously there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup if you have blemishes on your face or if you have bad skin. That's the point of makeup for some people, and my face looks terrible right now because it's that part of my monthly hormone cycle I'm in. So if you wear makeup to cover up acne or scars or redness or rosacea or anything, like, don't take it as me saying you shouldn't wear makeup. But if you do wear makeup to cover up those things, you know it's not super comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not completely old and wise like our friend the Valkyrie, but I have reached the age where I've given up giving fucks about many things. And one of them is, if I have a bad skin week, it's a week. If I have a bad skin week, I'm not wearing foundation. It hurts. My skin is sensitive. That's not happening. People know I have a face, and everyone that has a face whose skin is sometimes unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
So I will happily go out in public with a broken out chin and cheeks and eyeliner, brows, and mascara.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes not even the mascara. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not doing any of it.
No, oh yeah, no. Sometimes there are days where you're like, none of this shit. I'm not touching my face. But we've both really, I think we got into skincare around the same time because I think it was our annual shopping day. We did God, that totally fell by the wayside last year. We need to do that. We need to make it a point. Go spend a bunch of our husband's money one day this year. Um, but no, it
We
was,
do.
I think it was the last year I lived in Florida. No, it would have been before that. I don't know. We went and we tried all that skin stuff they used on our face before we got our makeup done at Sephora, and you were like, I love this. And she brought the bottle to you, and she's like, I don't love this $98 worth.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, and I mean, I guess my skincare has kind of, particularly on my face, like I know body is a little different, and I mean, it's changed over the years too, but like for my face, like I've always had pretty sensitive skin, and I know you do too. But it's interesting going through this journey with Victoria, because like she'll be like, my skin is very sensitive and I'll use this brand, and then like I'll try that brand and it pisses my skin off.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. She'll be like, I'll be like, try this one, it's amazing. She's like, what the fuck did you just give me? Because it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely not a one size fits all kind of thing. So I guess that's the downside to like face care and like skin care, is like there's a lot of trial and error. And then when you do find something that's amazing, like it can suddenly stop working.
Yeah, you have to change it up every once in a while. Like, if you use, for me anyway, if I use the same shampoo or conditioner all the time, after like 6 months, my hair's like, I don't like this anymore, and I'm going to actively work against it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, thanks. Thank you for that. I think the most important, this is going to sound real stupid, the most important thing in my skincare routine that I've discovered in the last couple years is taking the time to understand my skin's needs.
Mm-hmm.
And that, for me, as a person who has chronic issues and some of those are hormonal, my skin needs different things throughout the year, because there are 4 seasons in a year in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And although we got gypped on winter this year, and throughout the month, I'm going to need different things. So stuff that I can use in week 1 of my cycle that makes my skin happy and glowy and dewy fresh, I cannot use in week 3 or 4 of my cycle, because my skin will literally start peeling off my face. And so the best thing for me has been to make a starting point, figure out one brand that works, and then figure out what I need within that brand. And then I can start switching it out with other stuff once I have a routine that works. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like, you kind of have to take notes for your face.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. No, and usually, I mean, I guess that's the good thing about, and like, I don't think either one of us use, we both use pretty, like, high, I would say higher end.
Most high-end stuff I use is Origins. I will also say in the last 5 or 6 years, the gap between the Neutrogena acne stuff that's going to fry your face if you're over 23 and the stuff in French that you can't pronounce at the makeup counter has closed significantly.
It has.
Which is
It has.
wonderful.
Yeah. No, it is. I'm pretty, like, it's interesting because, like, you were talking about that makeup trip that we took and when we got into some skincare stuff. I remember walking away, or at some point, I think after that trip, but very soon after, I was like, I want to get into some serums and stuff to see, like, if it hydrates or whatever. But, like, I don't know. Like, I had such a I ended up buying, like, a sample kit, and I don't know. Like, I know serums seem to work for a lot of people, but for me, I'm just like, okay, that's nice. I don't feel like it's worth the $60 that one little tiny tube of serum is. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, like, in a few years I'll think differently. But
I'm not a huge serum person either. The closest I get is it is a serum, but I'll use the Ordinary's Buffet, which is a peptide serum. And it's like $14, and the bottle is like this big. It's 1 fluid ounce. So when I started with skincare, I started with Origins, because I knew from having gotten a gift set on my birthday years ago that their plant scription mega mushroom stuff worked really well for me, because it's an anti-inflammatory. So I started there, and I used just them for a few years, and they were good. And then I got a sample of the Sakuri baby facial from Drunk Elephant, which is basically an exfoliating facial. And it doesn't exfoliate by little beads or anything. It's acid and it eats the skin off your face.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's also like $78 a bottle.
Did it work pretty well?
Oh, yeah, it worked really well. So well, in fact, that whenever I saved up enough points at Sephora, I got another sample of it because I loved it. But The Ordinary, who I really like, has a AHA BHA peeling solution, which basically does the same thing, and it's like $8, and it looks like vampire blood. It looks like blood.
Nice. I might have to try that.
Yeah. So it hurts. It's not going to not hurt. There's no way for it to not hurt. Mm-hmm. It's eating skin off your face. Don't use it too often. I use it every other week or so, and every time I forget to do it for a little while, I do it, and then it's like, oh, my skin's so nice. Why did I forget to do this? You have to use a very, very heavy moisturizer afterwards. I use, also by The Ordinary, their cold press virgin marula oil, which is also like less than $10. The most expensive thing I use from The Ordinary is the buffet, and that's $14.
I'm gonna have to check out The Ordinary. I think you sent me a link to their stuff once, and I think I had just finished buying my skincare for the month, so
yeah. No, I'm really happy with their stuff. They do have, my husband has one that he uses too. They have a caffeine solution. It's 5% for under eye. It's okay. It doesn't work wonders for me. It does amazing stuff for my husband, because when he gets tired, his eyes get really puffy and almost sunken in, whereas I just have dark circles, 1 because I'm pale, 2 because sleep is for the weak. So he uses it and he really likes it. But I just got this a couple months ago and I really like it. The Yerba Mate Wake Up Eye Gel from Good Molecules. Good Molecules is another brand like The Ordinary. They have really good stuff and they're really cheap. Like in my cart right now, what do I have? I have their pineapple exfoliating powder, because I didn't understand why you would use this, and then I saw a video where someone was using it on their hands and feet, and I was like, oh, yeah. And I'm gonna try their instant cleansing balm and their niacinamide serum. I'm saying that wrong. I'm also very tired. So anyway, all that said to say, my skin routine now is pretty much half Origins, half The Ordinary, and I'm going to be adding in some more Good Molecules, and that's for my face.
That's
for my
cool.
body, it's different. What is your current routine?
Well, for my face, like I said, I've tried serums off and on. I have tried Drunk Elephant. I liked it okay, but I didn't really feel like it was quite worth like the price point as what I'm currently using, which is Fresh. Like Fresh
breaks me out like crazy.
Really? That's so interesting.
I can't use the soy face wash, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean,
like we said,
using? I'm not going to use that one because that'll break me out. But because I had this thing, I know you use the Origins, and I had like that one dried me out for some reason. So I don't know. Although I think I used Origins like back in my early 20s. Like I remember they had like a storefront in the mall, and I think I used some of their stuff.
They've been around forever.
They've been around for a very long time, yeah.
They were 2 stores down from Lush at the Florida Mall.
Yeah. No, and I mean, it was
hot topic when I was 19.
I'm really sad. Like, I really had good, for the longest time, I used, I tend to have very dry skin. I have eczema really bad on my hands and feet. But just overall, like, it's very dry and my face gets very dry. So Lush has this product that's like super hydrating, blah, blah, blah. And it worked super, super well for a very long time. And then it started to break me out and I started to get a rash from it. So I developed some kind of weird allergy to whatever was in it. So that was very sad.
You can develop sensitivities to stuff you've been overexposed to because bodies are dumb.
bodies are. So currently my current thing is Fresh. I like their they have rose. They have one that's like rose something or another, and then they have one that's like lotus. And they both work super well. And so I just kind of go based on what is on sale or which one is cheapest at the moment. And here's the thing about Fresh for me is that I don't notice so much when I am using it, but I notice a huge difference when I'm not using it.
Yes. That's how almost all good skincare goes, I think.
Yeah. I remember I was like, we were trying to like cut down on finances and stuff, like on expenses. And so I was like, well, I'm just gonna, use some $5 over the counter face wash for like a month. That was a mistake. And then like my husband yelled at me and I was like, we're cutting back on expenses. He's like, buy your fucking face wash. What is wrong with you? so, but yeah, so yeah. By the way, we're not endorsed by any of these people.
Yeah. We have no sponsors or affiliates in the skincare world. I'm not saying we never want them, but we don't have any as of right now. This is just our experience and what works for us. I think Fresh, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of falls in that middling price point where it's not as expensive as Origins or Lancome, but it's not the $5 over the counter stuff. Am I right or wrong?
No, I mean it's pretty like some of the the moisturizer that I use runs about $40 for like a jar, but it's like 1 or 2 ounce jar. I think it's like a 2-ounce jar. But the thing about that is like it lasts for a very long time.
The most expensive thing I currently have, because when I buy Origins, I just buy one of the $30 kits because per ounce it's cheaper.
Yes.
Than buying the big thing. The Drink Up Intensive Overnight Hydrating Mask with Avocado. Love this stuff. And the reason I use Origins is because I actually used to use an overnight avocado mask from Sephora that they don't make anymore.
I know, that was pretty magical. I remember you sent me a sample.
It was magical and perfect, and they don't make it anymore, and I'm kind of personally angry about it. And it was way cheaper, of course. But no, it was really good. This is also pretty good, the Drink Up Intensive, but it's not as good as the Sephora one was. But it's like $24 for one that'll last me 2 or 3 months, and it's 2.5 ounces. So that's the most expensive thing I currently use, but I've spent the last year trying to cut down all my skincare costs by replacing it with stuff like The Ordinary and Good Molecules. And this is the Drink Up Intensive is one thing that I haven't been able to switch out. And I'm still looking for a cleanser because usually I use Origin's Daily Foaming Face Wash, but I'm finding that's drying me out more than I want it to, particularly in the winter. So we're still on the hunt.
Yeah. What about for, like I was just talking about, like I have eczema on my hands and feet. I know you've had some issues with yours.
We both do.
So what do you use for your hands and feet right now?
I am currently using CeraVe, which you do get at Target, but it's CeraVe moisturizing cream. It's not fancy. It's not pretty. It just sits in a tub with a pump next to my bed. And I don't notice when I'm using it, but I notice when I don't. Like, I did not put it on this morning, and I am itchy. I will slather myself in it before bed.
CeraVe makes good stuff. I actually use their, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, their micellar water. Micellar. Thank you.
We'll assume that's correct. It's 50-50. One of us was close.
Yes.
Yeah, the micellar water I'm currently using, because I do use it to take off my makeup, is whatever they had at Whole Foods, their 365 brand. It works. It's cheap. I'm happy with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I noticed that micellar water seems to work better than any other makeup remover that I've used.
Yes. It's magic. We're just going to go with it being magic. As I sit here and rub CeraVe into my hands because I realized my hands were itchy.
Now we're talking about dry skin. And you were like, oh, fuck, I itch. Like, I forgot.
Yeah. Well, and I got this huge tub because I got a tattoo on like a third of my forearm in January. And then I just started using it everywhere. And I was like, oh, this is nice. I mean, I'll use stuff from Bath and Body Works sometimes. But after a while, the fragrance starts to really irritate me.
Yeah.
And when I'm having a week with headaches, I don't want any extra smells. So Like, everything is very low-key, no smell in our house this week. So I really like the CeraVe for that. And even though you can get it at Target, it's not cheap. Like this, well, it's not super expensive either, but a 16-ounce container was like $18.
Yeah.
So for body lotion, what most people use if you're buying stuff from Target, it's definitely on the expensive end.
Yeah.
But using like Jergens does nothing.
No. Well, it was interesting because I was just having a conversation actually with my daughter's pediatrician, and she's like, I don't even know why they sell lotion because it really just dries out people's skin. You should be getting like the creams and stuff like that, like the CeraVe and like the, and I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know. Is my Aveeno, my fancy Aveeno, like I say fancy. I'm like drying my feet out.
As good as it was when we were in high school. Like if you read the ingredients there and you read them now, you're like, this is just cheap shit with natural packaging colors, and I'm mad.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very true. Like it used to have like a lot more like actual like oatmeal, and
some of them even have mineral oil in them, which is a whole other thing.
So my 6-month-old, she has like a little patch of like eczema on her back and on her elbows. And so the doctor recommended Eucerin baby cream. And I was like, sure. Or it's like eczema baby cream. And I don't typically like Eucerin because like even though it's for people with eczema, it's too thick. I'm like, I don't mind like a good cream, but like if I put the cream
absorb.
On, it does.
I don't want Vaseline.
Yeah, and that's what
Vaseline doesn't help your skin.
It
just makes you greasy.
Yeah. And then like when you're reading your book, like your pages get all greasy. And then
yeah, that's the worst. Like fingerprints on your book pages? No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not cool. More so if you're doing the Kindle. Like
yeah.
You get grease all.
You get a smudge on the side where the page hit is. Yeah.
Not good stuff. But so like usually the Eucerin, like the adult stuff is like too thick for me. But like I was putting the baby cream on her and I was like, ooh, this is nice. And so like I've actually started using it. And then today I'm like, let me see what's in it. That was a mistake. Because like one of the first 5 ingredients was actually mineral oil. I'm like, motherfuckers.
Mineral oil is not good for you, and it's in freaking everything. Like,
yes.
I don't know if they do now, so this could have been a while ago, and I haven't checked lately, but like at one point, NARS had to make a statement NARS, like expensive shit, had to make a statement defending their use of mineral oil, and I'm like, it's a byproduct of gasoline refinement. Don't fucking put it on your skin. Like, just don't. It's not good for you. It denatures and sucks the fat out of your skin. I understand it's a cheap, like, stabilizer that most people have no problem with, but, like, don't put crude oil refinement byproducts on your skin. And it's in a lot of things. And it's not a true allergy. Like, if I say I have an allergy to it, there's going to be somebody out there who's like, it's not a true allergy. Yeah, I know. I have a built-up sensitivity to it because there was a point in my life where I painted all the time, and you use mineral spirits to clean your paint.
Mm-hmm.
This is an appropriate use for mineral spirits. And, like, it just got to the point where, like, I couldn't use anything that had mineral oil in it. And I'm still pretty sensitive to it, so I avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know if you remember if you ever saw me, but like if I would use something with mineral oil in it, especially like eyeshadows, my eyes would get puffy and my cheeks would just get so puffy and awful and bad, and they hurt so much. Like, please do not put stuff with mineral oil in it on your skin. And what drives me nuts is like every lip smackers ever. All of the cute little unicorn Disney princess shit, the Dr. Pepper lip balm, which I wore all the time in high school, all has mineral oil in it. Like, lip smackers, fuck you. I would like to buy my kids some cute lip balm that doesn't have crude oil byproducts in it. Could you not? Mineral oil is kind of my line.
Yeah. You're right though, like it is in everything. Like, and that's what's very frustrating about finding out, like, that's why you should always read the ingredients before you purchase. Because there's been a few products, like skincare products, that I'm like, oh, this is amazing, I like it, and then like, fuck.
Well, and this is why at some points it's easier just to go to Lush or Origins and be like, I will spend 25 to 125% more to go to Lush or Origins, just because I don't have to spend 3 hours of my life sitting there with my phone typing in words I can't pronounce to figure out what ingredients you have in your shit. I can just buy it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I know it's not going to work because there's some crap in it that should only be used for industrial purposes.
Details.
So what my skin routine looks like now is I try to cleanse, tone, moisturize every morning. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes what happens is the morning is I put a cool or a warm washcloth on my face and I sit there for a minute, and then I slap on some moisturizer and I go on with my day.
Yep.
Something with an SPF in it, preferably, I guess. And then at night I try to do the buffet. And even if I don't do it every night, if I just do it 3 or 4 nights a week, I notice a difference. And then on weeks like this week, where I am so sensitive, I want to scream, I very gently wash my face with a minimal amount of cleanser. And then I put the Drink Up Intensive over it, which still, like right now, is not particularly comfortable. And that's it. But there's also, The Ordinary has a toner that's 7% glycolic acid. It's a pH of 3.6. So if you don't want to do, if you don't want to do the full vampire blood toning or peeling mask situation, you can just use this a couple nights a week. I would not recommend using it every night. I was not thinking and used it 2 nights in a row this week, which is part of the reason why my cheeks hurt right now.
Oh no.
But usually I use it 1 or 2 nights a week in between using the peeling mask, and that's enough to make a difference. It really is. And one of the things, I don't know if you've noticed this, sensitive skin is a bitch, because like right now my skin is hypersensitive and I don't want to put anything on it, and I can't put anything on it because I over exfoliated it. But there are also times, if you have sensitive skin, where if you don't exfoliate, you will become hypersensitive and red.
Yes. Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm hypersensitive and red and flaky, the answer is to slather acid on my face and sit there and try not to scream for 10 minutes. It doesn't hurt that badly. It really doesn't. It's a little tingly. If anything on your face makes you want to scream, don't keep it on your face. But there's a sensation. And then, you clean it off, you put the oil on your face, and you feel significantly better. It's really trial and error and knowing what works for your face. Ooh, you know what we both use to keep our skin clear that is something we haven't mentioned?
Water.
Yeah. If you don't drink enough water, your skin's gonna look like shit. Sorry. I don't mean flavored water. I don't mean LaCroix. I don't mean, I guess, sparkling water work. I mean, just like
drink water. Like
drink water. And if you don't want to drink water, I often don't, just keep a glass by the sink, and every time you go downstairs, just like a tumbler, like you would put an old fashioned in, and just drink one of water, and do that 8 times a day.
I'm actually thinking about buying like a big, like fucking big jug and like refilling it.
I have my big mommy cups of water, and I have them everywhere, and I'm so thankful for them because I drink so much water with them. Like, I didn't used to get why people would spend $20 or $30 on a fancy Tervis tumbler or something like that, or a big water jug like you're talking about, when you can get a glass of water and you already have glasses. No, it makes a huge difference in your health. If that's what it takes for you to drink water, do it.
Buy the fancy glass.
So if you have any skincare brands that you like, particularly if they're in kind of that middling section, like The Ordinary and Good Molecules, where I wouldn't even say it's middling, they're really reasonably priced, but they're better than most of the things you can get at CVS and Target in the same price point, please let us know. And you can reach us on all of the social medias: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, not TikTok, we aged out, at Paper and Vices. Or you can email us, Lee at Paper and Vices or Victoria at Paper and Vices. But we want to know what you slather on your face, and if you also have a selection of crazy products, because your face might need different things on different days of the week.
In the meantime, don't be an asshole, smoke a joint, and take care of yourself.
This has been a production of Paper and Vices, copyright 2021. This episode is presented for entertainment purposes only, and any vice should be pursued only within the legal boundaries, common sense, and personal responsibility of each person. Please check your local laws. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and guests only, and do not in any way represent the views of Paper and Vices LLC or any named persons, nor should they be considered personal, medical, or legal advice. Previous episodes and other commentary can be found at paperandvices.com.